Hey, what's up guys, aarava here, and welcome back to another episode of my F1 2019 career mode, episode number 62 today for the USA Grand Prix in Season 3. If you guys did miss the previous one, then be sure to go check that one out before you see this one. That was a very crazy episode for the one super rare thing we saw in that video. Obviously, if you've seen it by now, spoiler alert, it was the safety car. That was pretty crazy. As a whole, that race was pretty mad, but we came away with it with more points than Leclerc once again. So we go into USA then. I've always said that USA and Brazil are going to be tough ones for me, because historically the AI are always really consistent. Now, I'm not actually that great at USA and Brazil, I'll fully admit that. So I think we're going to have a tougher time here, and we've also got some forecasts for some rain at the start of the race, which could make things very spicy indeed. You can see everyone now is pretty much plateauing, apart from maybe Mercedes will upgrade there, but you can see how close things are. So I expect quality to be quite tight. Speaking of that, let's just get straight into it then and go to Saturday.
It's time for today's qualifying session to begin here in the United States. Welcome to the Circuit of the Americas. It always looked like the kind of track that asks an awful lot of the rear tyres, such as the frequency of low-speed exits.
No matter how good a driver is at managing their throttle application to limit rear slip, they can't always overcome a car that's inherently bad at looking after its rear tyres. Here we have a lot of low-speed corner exits, which means a whole load of energy, heat and tyre wear.
Right, so swinging into the action and right at the end of our flying lap in Q1, then hopefully we'll just make it through into Q2. No issues there. Up into P2, you can see just below Lucas Weber. Eventually that's going to be down to P4. Leclerc, the fastest of all in Q1, so our car looks like it has some decent pace around here. The McLarens actually have a lack of pace. I thought they would have definitely had around here, because they've generally been very good in this obviously second half of the season, but the Renaults seem to be the ones that will give us more of a fight at the sharp end there. But we go to Q2 then, blinded by the sun on the right hand side there as we go through the last corner, trying to avoid that understeer, that classic understeer in that last corner that's been in this game the entire time on that last corner around Cota. Across the line there, and we're looking very decent there, matching Leclerc's time this time for P2. He's in P3, and so I was actually feeling pretty confident now going to the top 10 shootout. You know, in terms of lack of pace to Leclerc, didn't really seem to be there actually. So as long as we can try and match him, I won't be too disappointed in in the job we're going to do today. You know, the car is going to be where the car is, and so we go through the first final lap in Q3. I say first, really though, we've left it a little bit awkwardly. I think I waited a little too long to go for this first flyer, because I don't think I actually have enough time technically to go for a second flyer. So this might be my only one shot, and we go across the line. It's a decent lap time. It's the fastest I've done all day, but it's only enough for then in the end P5. Then Leclerc gets P3. You can see there the Renaults are the ones that take the pole position, and the McLarens picked up pace weirdly enough in the last part of qualifying there, and the Red Bulls lost a lot of pace that they were showing earlier on there. So P5 for us, Leclerc P3. That's not too bad, but remember the start of the race tomorrow looks to be a bit of rain on intermediate, so that's definitely going to be a big spanner in the works, but looking forward to it. I think we can do a decent job at limiting damage here if that is the case. Obviously I would love to try and overtake Leclerc and get more points on him, but we'll just have to see about that. I think the rain might be quite tricky around here, so let's just see how it goes really.
In 2012, America's on-again, off-again love affair with Formula One finally seemed to settle down with the completion of this wonderful racing facility here in Texas. Since then, we've been treated to some incredible races, including, of course, that classic wet-dry championship decider of 2015. We have 10 turns to the left and 10 to the right here at the fantastic Circuit of the Americas. Overtaking opportunities into turns 1 and 12 at this anti-clockwise 3.6 mile track. But we may well see cars struggle to slow down there today, as the wet weather does interfere with the low-speed grip. Anthony Davidson, a very warm welcome to you as you join me in the commentary box for today's event. Let's talk about the engineer. Everything's on the line here today and the title hangs in the balance. So how do you think they'll be coping with all that pressure?
Well, I try not to think about the result too much. The worst thing you can do in this situation is think about all the what-ifs. What if I get hit going into turn 1? What if I get a penalty? What if I finish outside the points? If you let any of those kind of worries get to you, you can't focus on the job, so staying in the right mindset will be critical today.
It's time to take a look at our starting grid for today's race. Max Verstappen put in a fantastic lap yesterday, and he starts from pole position, and Lando Norris lines up alongside. Looking at the rest of today's grid, we have Leclerc, Perez, the engineer, and Faber, Hamilton, Bottas, Gasly, and Devon Butler, Vettel, Grosjean, Kevin Magnussen, and Giovinazzi. Russell, Stroll, Kimi Raikkonen and Nico Hülkenberg. Fiat, they'll be starting further back after an earlier grid penalty. And Daniel Ricciardo fills the last spot on the grid. And with preparations almost complete, let's head down to the track.
Alright, this race just got very, very interesting. We have a very odd situation, a kind of Brazil 2012 kind of situation where the rain is falling, but it is still dry enough for dry tyres, and the engineers think we should start on dries. The FIA are okay with everyone starting on dries because I'm locked onto the super softs. I can't change that tyre compound. You can see that it's greyed out on the strategy screen, so everyone in Q3 has to start on their tyres. I'm going to check the race director, but you're going to see that everyone is also going to start on dry, so it very much is Brazil 2012 where it looks like it's wet enough for inters, but everyone's still on dries, and I hope there's enough grip for the dry tyres like there was in Sao Paulo those years ago, because I mean there's three indicators of wet weather, the intermediates there on the session forecast, so that doesn't really bode well. I feel like this will either be a very quick move to inters or just a very weird first stint, because it is going to get dry enough then to go to normal slicks. You know, you can see on the weather indicator there it will be just cloudy and sunny then at the end of this race, so this is going to be a very messed up first part of the race. Very interesting nonetheless though. Really great to have this kind of race in a kind of middle of a championship fight here in the last 3 rounds of this season, but this is also going to be a bit nerve-wracking in terms of I could definitely make a mistake here in these slippery conditions and just drop the car, so we're going to have to kind of tread very carefully indeed and just get into it really. It's the same for everyone, so just try and make the most of it really. And so here we go then on a very damp grid here in COTA. We go to 5 red lights for this USA Grand Prix in Season 3. The lights are out and we're underway, and it's a shaky start for us. I wasn't sure what the acceleration was going to be like. It's not too bad actually. The grip is still there kind of as the rain does fall though. It's already on our camera, and down the inside goes Lucas Weber, makes some small contact with Lewis Hamilton. I was very afraid that was going to be a bit of a front wing breakage there on the front right there, but thankfully we survived it. We can see skating through opposite lock 3 or 4 times there, chopping away at the steering wheels. We go down the hill. I tried to get the power down a little bit too eagerly, and so we're in P6 then, but Lucas Weber's done us a number there and overtaken not only me but also Sergio Perez, so the German looking good in the wet conditions. But at the moment Verstappen leads then from the McLaren Leclerc in P3, and we've got to do our best job to try and keep up with this pack there, but I have a bad feeling already that this front pack's going to pull away and I'm just going to be leading a kind of trolley train because I'm going to be struggling more. I know the AI did get patched in the wets, but I don't know if the patch kind of covered these situations where historically on the F1 games they've always been the most OP. When it's the changeable conditions, they just seem to have so much more traction on each corner. For now it's okay, we'll do the best job we can, but yeah, even the engineering game's not even sure basically. He's not sure if it's inters or dry tyres. It's basically a very weird first stint this is going to be of just limbo really. You just have to make the best of it I guess, as we now move on to lap number 3. Hamilton pressurising. You can see everyone, the top pack has fallen away from me and I'm struggling here. Now you can see we nearly go straight on. We just about slow down the car enough with a lock-up on the front left that Hamilton has sent one down the inside. We go defensive against Valtteri Bottas there, but I almost went completely clean on as the tyre just stopped rotating and I just didn't have any kind of braking force there into that corner, and so we're down to P7. We have to try and get back up to Hamilton. I should think we do have this pace to still try and catch up and overtake Hamilton. We just need to actually put our minds to it and stop making these mistakes here. So we move on to lap number 4. Obviously we know how good this car is in a straight line, so I'd like to think from this far back with DRS as well, overtake mode and rich mix going, we can overtake him as my engineer asked for a change of strategy, but that's not what we're concerned about right now. As we go on the right hand side, it's a nice bit of braking there for us to lunge ahead of Hamilton and get the move done around the outside, and that makes up for it in the same exact corner. We lost the position justice there. We get it done. Hamilton does get a nose in a little bit on the next right hander, but we pull it through. But you can see, look at the gap now on the minimap and just ahead. I can't even see Perez right now. You can just about see him there as he flashes past through that double right hander, but he's just gone and away. And so as we go through the laps then, Verstappen pulls away in first place there. So obviously Verstappen, we know in real life, is known for being good in these conditions in the wets, and so he's pulling away in first place. Then you got Norris in second, Leclerc in third still, so he's still doing a decent job to be ahead of Lucas Weber and Sergio Perez. But you can see there, you can't even see where my train is with Hamilton and co, because that's how slow I am in comparison basically. But we move on to lap number 7, and now we can see some people in the pit lane there. So we're going to carry on because the soft tyres have, you know, some decent grip in them still, and I feel feel like the rain is slowing up a little bit. I don't know if it's just me, but if you look at the sides of the camera here, I feel like there's less rain coming down than there was on lap number 1. Those guys pit in, and if it's anything to go by a default strategy, they're pitting onto another set of soft tyres, because our default was a 3-stop, so it was a little bit glitched. I feel like the game's not really prepared for this kind of limbo situation in stint 1, and I feel like all the AI are going to pit for soft tyres, and I think they are basically doing that. As we go through now, Hamilton sets fast after the Grand Prix behind me. I've set purple, and now look at this on lap number 9, no more rain spray. It is now getting to the point where it is dry, and I feel like these soft tyres have longer to go. If this was a fully dry race, I would expect the dry tyres to go to about at least lap 13 probably on these softs, and then go to a set of maybe mediums or hards then to make a one-stop work here at Kota. We go and set a fast after the Grand Prix then on lap number 10. So definitely there is still grip in these tyres. There is for behind us as well on the fresh set, but I've still got some decent pace in this worn set, and I've just jumped everyone basically. So I'm going to just stick it out here. I may as well. There's no point pitting now because obviously, we don't need to pit for inters and the tyre wear is still pretty good. So I'll just keep on going basically and see how we do. But everyone ahead of me then in that group pit for another set of soft tyres. So they're doing a 2-stop essentially, it would seem, to the end of this Grand Prix. And you can see lap 11, again, another fast lap of the Grand Prix. This has actually worked out amazingly for me. Really weirdly. I wasn't very positive about this situation, this race, up until now, but on lap 13 then, of course, on the fresh set of soft tyres, the guys are starting to catch me there. You can see Lucas Weber now is the one that leads the pack then. So he's jumped Verstappen and jumped Norris and Leclerc, it would seem. And so Weber is the one in second place chasing after me there. It's going to be inevitable that he overtakes me, but I'm now actually going to come in on this lap. I've stretched these tyres 4 more laps than my engineer wanted me to. Remember when he asked me to change strategy when I was overtaking Hamilton, he wanted me to pit on lap number 9. This is now lap 13, so I've stretched these really well, and the tyre wear is kind of still there. I could go on longer, but I'm getting to about halfway through the Grand Prix, so there's no point. I may as well pit for mediums, and it should be a fairly easy one-stop now. It's just a case of hoping that all these guys are definitely doing a 2-stop. They must be, because they have to, because the rules obviously dictate they didn't go into inters. They have to switch compounds still. I'm pretty sure. I don't think the fact it rains makes the difference. I think it's the fact that they're onto a set of wet compound, and that none of them were, so they have to go for another set of at least mediums or hard. So all of these guys have to pit again, and so basically I'm almost matching them for the one stop essentially for the remainder of the Grand Prix. So I'm feeling pretty confident here. We could have a good shot, and only a podium maybe, even the race win. I don't know, if we have a good enough pace here on the mediums and their worn out soft tyres aren't doing them too well later on, I think I could remain kind of first place here. So let's keep positive here out of what was looking quite gloom and doom really. I mean, it does look quite gloom and doom right now in this episode. It's a very depressing looking episode, I must say, on lap 14, but the sun will start to come out, not only in the game but also in terms of the situation, I think, as we go on through this Grand Prix. Because as we move on to lap number 15 then, we're going to get up the order as all those people have to make their second pit stops of the afternoon. Lando Norris there just ahead of us, so he has actually jumped us then, but he's on another set of soft tyres, the red wall soft tyres. So Norris has jumped us, so we don't actually have that amazingly lightning pace on these mediums, the yellow wall, but he's pit onto softs. And now look at the top left, Bottas onto soft tyres as well, Butler as well, Perez as well onto softs. Actually going to jump Sergio Perez. We're going to get just near enough to Verstappen, and there is Leclerc, and all of them are on soft tyres. They're all on this very weird glitched default strategy that I was shown on the strategy screen earlier on this Grand Prix, of this 3-stop of 3 sets of soft tyres, 1 set of mediums at the end of this Grand Prix. So all of these guys have to pit again. Remember the tyre rule. They have to pit again and change compound. So we're in P7, and so I thought, okay, that's maybe the podium and the race win gone because the pace wasn't great on these mediums. But now that these guys have to pit again, now we're back into it. It's roller coaster emotions right now. Sergio Perez tries to overtake us. He's right up our chuff there. Actually, very strangely in Sector 1, he was literally pushing me through some of those corners. He literally was pushing me through that left-hander. As we now go through with DRS open, can we just stay ahead of him there with overtake mode and rich mix? Looks like we are going to just stop pulling away there. So just about the Toro Rosso pace. And a straight line comes and shines through once again, and we remain in P7. But for how much longer can we do that? Because we know the pace isn't going to be good from car to car, let alone on the mediums to soft tyres here. As we go through onto number 18, then 10 laps to go in this Grand Prix there, so not too long, but still a lot of action to come. And into the next left-hander, we get tapped by Sergio Perez there. There was a physical tap by Perez as he gets annoyed at us or whatever and just gets past us there with the elbows out. Can we try and re-overtake and get some kind of toe off him essentially, because he overtook us so early on the straight there? Going to have a little look around the outside there, kind of break a little bit early, maybe try and cut in tighter to the line. Doesn't really work out there. He has the better pace, I have to accept that, but it was a very aggressive move by Sergio Perez. A replay camera will show that. Obviously, I was going quite slow into the corner there because I lost some grip over the hill and then into the brake zone there. Maybe just not as confident, but then locking up, and then he just taps us on the rear left there. That pushes me wide, and so that's how he just gets the place. I don't know if the FAA are going to say anything about that, but there you go. But unfortunately, lap number 19, I stuck with him as best I could. We're going to pull through and catch him up in a straight line here with DRS because he now doesn't have any DRS, so he's a bit of a sitting duck, and so we gain all the time we lost in Sector 1 and Sector 3 of the previous lap, but alas, we just don't have that kind of last bit of pace to re-overtake him. But it doesn't really matter. You know, we've got 9 laps left of this Grand Prix, and him and everyone ahead of him have to pit again. They have to. So we move on to lap 21, and so here we go then. We're going to go across the line. Lando Norris is in the pit lane. We've got, I think, Lucas Weber also in the pit lane there. We're up into P4 then of this Grand Prix. Perez is still out there, along with Verstappen and Leclerc, I believe. We've got 6 laps left to go of this Grand Prix. And now as we move on to the very next lap of the GP then, we're going to get up into what is going to be first place of the USA GP. Leclerc, Perez and Verstappen finally pits for their last set, the medium tyre, so that's confirming there. The AI basically did that glitched kind of weird, very odd strategy that was shown to me at the start there. Hamilton is into P2, but he's probably going to pit as well along with Gasly there, so I imagine it will be, well, in the end it will be Lucas Weber in second place with the fast lap of the Grand Prix, looking very, very quick. Leclerc in third place then. It's the second last lap of the Grand Prix. We lead the race. We're 2 laps away from winning this Grand Prix in some spectacular, very odd fashion here, but Weber is coming and charging. He's set a purple time already. He's flying out there. Can we stop the German? Can we stop our former F2 teammate from getting this race win away from us there as we pull to the left, try and break the toe? Doesn't work out for us there. Weber gets the position. He's up into first place, but we can get another slipstream off him and dive bomb down the inside there. Lock up on the front left, just hoping and praying we don't make too much contact with him. We don't make any actually, so fair racing there between myself and him. I try my best the long way around. Doesn't work out on that double right-handed there. We're going to have to stick behind him. We have a little look to the inside, think better of it last minute, and he just chops across our front end there. So fair but hard racing there from Weber, and we're going to try and pull through there and go aggressive. We have to. We've got 1 lap left of this Grand Prix, and I crucially will be the car that's behind on the main straight as we come up into Sector 2. And look at that, in Sector 1, I don't know what Weber did there. I think he hit some tyre wear or just, I don't know what it was, but I almost pushed him through that corner there as he maybe started derating possibly on the ERS. I'm not too sure, but he looked very, very slow through that corner at least. And now here we go then, the main straight. We know this car is a bullet in a straight line. So here we go then, open DRS, overtake mode, rich mix. Even Leclerc is going to try and catch up a little bit here. It's going to be close stuff there, but we go. We fake to the left, go to the right there, and we make the move for first place. Aggressively get to the apex there, lock up at the front left, just about slow down the car as I went very late on the brakes, and we just slow it down there, and looks like we might just be able to maintain this first place. It's very tricky to overtake in the remainder of this sector. I know that all too well, trying to overtake others in previous seasons of the career mode already on this track. So here we come now through, swinging through the last few corners then. We're in first place, Leclerc is in third. I don't know how that's happened, honestly, because at one point we were down in P8 or P7, was it? And now we're just about coming through for first place. I say just about because we got a big tank slapper then. Weber, look at the dive bomb Weber's made on the last corner then. My God, Weber went for it. Just went for the kamikaze dive on the last corner, but we've held it through and we've got the win at the USA Grand Prix. And you know what that's going to also mean? It's going to mean the win in the Constructors' Championship for Toro Rosso.
Toro Rosso will no doubt be celebrating tonight. What a great win. What do you think it was, Ant, that gave them the edge over the competition today?
Well, I know it's a bit of a boring answer, but the truth is they simply had the best speed package on the day, and a driver who knows how to take advantage of that. It doesn't matter how much time you spend poring over the stats and planning strategies if you can't keep the pace, and our winner today showed they could do both.
And look at this, they're coming out now. Toro Rosso have developed something of a reputation for forging exciting talent, and we can see that here. An incredible victory.
So there you have it. The Constructors' Champions for Season 3 are Toro Rosso. And what a way to cap it off there by getting the race win to seal the Constructors' Championship. That is absolutely awesome. Obviously, myself and Leclerc have pushed each other so hard this entire season, so there was no doubt in my mind that we were going to actually win the Constructors' title at least. We've still got a job to do in the drivers, but we've just made our job even easier now into Brazil and Abu Dhabi. We get some more points on Leclerc. Absolutely awesome going into Brazil, which I think should again be a hard race, but, you know, I said that for this one, and look what happened. You know, maybe, you know, I'm praying almost for some rain in Brazil, you know. It's helped us out massively here at USA, some rain, so I wouldn't mind some rain at Sao Paulo, actually, at the start of the Grand Prix. I wouldn't mind a copycat of 2012 Sao Paulo next episode for the career mode, for sure, if it's going to pan out like that. That definitely helped us out majorly, that very weird strategy all the AI did, I will fully admit. But there you go, the Constructors' Championship trophy comes to Toro Rosso. Absolutely sweet. Guys, if you did enjoy this very hectic race here at the USA Grand Prix, then be sure to smash the like button. Let me know what you thought in the comments below. If you are new around here, subscribe for weekly Formula content. I've been aarava. Have a just day. I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.